All right, so week one of the NFL season is in the books, and the Patriots started off not too hot. Starting off 0-1 as half of the other teams in the NFL did, but it has lots of people who I think right now are a little worried about the Patriots in their current situation there in New England. Lots of people blaming Bill Belichick, his decision to, give Matt Patricia the play calling. Their offense just didn't move the ball too well on Sunday, only got to the red zone one time overall. And I think ever since, Tom Brady leaves New England, there's always been this idea or this discussion about Bill Belichick versus Tom Brady, who made who, which guy is more responsible for the other guy's success. Personally, I think it's obviously falls to both of them a little bit. You got to give Tom Brady credit. He's a baller. You got to give Bill Belichick credit because clearly for all those years to be able to manage that team, they both deserve credit in that situation. But now the Patriots are sitting here, and they are sitting at a solid 0-1, and people are questioning, this Patriots offense, what the plan is, what are you doing, Bill Belichick, what's the plan going forward? And so when we look at this game, Mac Jones in this game, his stat line, he goes 21 of 30 for 213 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And I think the biggest problem in this game was just the weapons there for New England. First off, you sit Kendrick Bourne, only has 2 snaps in the entire game. In those 2 snaps, he had 1 reception for 41 yards. I did read that apparently he was in the doghouse. Matt Patricia was in the doghouse from Matt Patricia because apparently he showed up late to a meeting. So it looks like because of that, they're like, sorry, dude, you have to sit. We're not going to play you. You need to show up on time, which I guess makes sense. But I did see earlier this week, Robert Kraft said that he wants Kendrick Bourne to play more. And I do think that when you put Bourne in this lineup, you saw in the 2 snaps he had, he comes in, catches a ball for 41 yards. So he makes this offense that much more explosive. I still do think they're sort of lacking in wide receiver talent. They, of course, brought in Devontae Parker this offseason, but in this game, he only had 1 reception for, I think it was 9 yards. So didn't really show up in this game. He was targeted 1 time on Mac Jones' interception. Mac Jones throws it up to Devontae Parker, and the guy was locked down on him. Devontae could have gone up and grabbed it, didn't really do it. Ball gets smacked, intercepted for Mac Jones. It wasn't a pretty throw, but that's sort of what happened this week for their offense. Only get to the red zone 1 time overall. And if we take a look at their yards per play from their offense, 5 yards per play, which was 22nd in the NFL. One area where I think that is actually surprisingly played well overall in the majority of the game was the offensive line. Only allowed 4 pressures, which is really good. Of course, when we look at those 4 pressures, 2 of those were sacks, one of those being the strip sack fumble, which led to the Dolphins defense just picking the ball up. Easy 7 for the Miami Dolphins. 3 of those 4 pressures were allowed by left tackle Trent Brown. But besides that, the majority of the offensive line played well. Rookie Cole Strange, who many people debated that draft pick. What are you doing, Patriots? He seemed to play very well in that game when it came to pass protection. So majority of the day, Mac Jones did have a lot of time to throw. So I think that's good for the Patriots offense, but their offense they need to push the ball down the field more. They really struggled when it came to running the ball. Only ran the ball for 78 total yards, 21 attempts for 3.7 yards per carry. So they got to figure out what to do in offense. Is Matt Patricia the answer? As a play caller, I don't know. Their offense just didn't look super complex or interesting on Sunday. They just didn't have too much to offer. Could barely push the ball down the field. As I said, only getting to the red zone 1 time overall. The positive for this game is that against a very talented Miami Dolphins offense with the addition, of course, of Tyreek Taylor. Tyreek Taylor? Who are you talking about? You come in, you face off against a Miami Dolphins team that has some more life. You added Tyreek Hill. You have new coach Mike McDaniels. And you basically hold them to 13 points as a defense. Of course, 7 of those points were from that sack fumble. So only holding them to 13 points. For a majority of the game, they kept them very much in check. They got pressure on Tua as well, 17 pressures. So I compare that to the Dolphins getting pressure on Mac Jones, only 4 pressures, versus the Patriots' 17 pressures. 4 by Dietrich Wise Jr., 4 by Matthew Judon, and they held the Dolphins to 2.8 yards per carry for only a total of 68 yards. So the defense played very, very well, and now the question is, can they rebound versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are coming off a very solid win against the Bengals team that looked rusty out there. Joe Burrow throwing 4 picks. That typically doesn't happen. And so I do think that the Patriots can bounce back. I think when you look at week 1, across the NFL, there are lots of teams that just looked sloppy. It did look like their first game. Like, things weren't clicking. Things weren't going properly. So I think to judge the Patriots off of one game, it's way too early. But they are in a division now that has lots of talent. It's going to be tough for them to, I think, 100% make the playoffs. It's going to be a competition there with the Bills, of course, and the Dolphins. The Dolphins already getting a win on the Patriots in this first game. So we'll see what the plan is for Bill Belichick in the future. If he keeps losing, there's going to be a lot more, drama here in New England. But those are my thoughts on that game. We'll see what happens next week. If you guys would like to see more NFL content, make sure you subscribe, drop a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time.